So first I'm going to start by sectioning her hair from the front to the back, almost like a headband section. So I'm pulling all the front forward, leaving the back in the back, doing the same thing on the other side. So with her sectioning, you're going to section it similar to the blow dry. And when I take my first piece, I'm really looking to have about a square inch of hair. Now, more or less density on the client will matter as far as how much you take, but this is kind of going to be your preference. So she doesn't have a lot of hair, so I'm only going to split this in 2 sections on this. Okay, so I'm going to slow the video down so you can see. So I'm starting at the top of the hair strand, and once I feel comfortable with where that is, I'm going to go ahead and start twisting it around. I normally do about 2 twists starting from the top and just moving around. Remember, this video is slowed down, I'm not just burning this girl's hair. And then I'm going to undo 1 loop and then start clicking it through. Now, if she had super long hair, I would definitely continue to twist the hair up. But for her, who really has like a mid-length, I would say, a few twists are good and then start clamping through the ends because she doesn't want her hair overly curled. So again, a few twists on there, starting from the top, undo 1 twist and start working your way down. And then I'm going to undo another twist and work down. If you want bigger curls than this, I would say you're going to twist and undo it less. So you're twisting and then you're just kind of pulling the hair through as it goes, as opposed to what I'm doing, which is undoing a twist and then adding more. And when I'm holding my section up, I'm holding it so that I can get under it. So I'm not just leaving it hanging down. I'm lifting it up so I can get that iron as close as possible to the scalp, obviously without burning her. And then putting a few rounds on it before I move it down, just like this. Again, this is going to be like a more curled look, but at the end, once I brush through it, it's still not going to be like Shirley Temple curls, which is what we really want to avoid doing. Another way to avoid over curling is just to make sure that you don't have too small of sectioning. Now, if you do small sections all over the head and you do it this way, it's still not going to give the Shirley Temple experience, but it is going to, be a little bit more curly than maybe the client would want it. So just kind of be aware of that. Another thing to note is that when I'm doing each side, I am curling away from the face. So on your right side, you're going to curl back, and then on your left side, you're still going to be moving backwards away from the face. And you don't necessarily have to do every single hair away from the face, but you definitely want to make sure your first section goes away from the face, or it can look a little dated. So this is kind of an important thing just to note. If I have extra time and my guest has talked to me about maybe the fact that they are having trouble with curling or whatever it may be, I will always try to show them and then let them do 1 or 2 curls on themselves, because we want them to be able to recreate the look at home, because then they'll get more compliments, and then hopefully we'll get a referral out of that. But also we want them to feel really confident with the cut or color we just gave them. And of course they walk out loving their style, but I want them to be able to do that at home as well. So I'll just let you kind of watch how we talk through this piece.
Twist, twist, and then you do that, and then you let go.
Yes.
And then you twist
Yes.
more.
Yes. And then just slowly,
And then
no more twisting, just slowly
that.
click out. Yeah, that's good.
Could be worse, yeah.
No, it's good. It really is.
I also just want you to note that while I'm curling these sections, I'm not running my hands through them at all. And that is because I want them to cool in place. And anytime you let hair cool in place, you're kind of letting it set with the style, and that will give the client longevity to whatever you've done to style it. Now, as I'm about to run my fingers through her hair, you can use the oil and it will kind of help smooth the ends of their hair. But if their hair is super healthy and silky, I would avoid using it, just because the fact that it could create an oily look. But I did use a little bit on my hands here, and if you saw, I kind of rubbed them together first, and I'm working from the bottom up. I'm not going onto her scalp with this at all, but I'm brushing through the curls and using my fingers almost like a super, super wide tooth comb. So I'm not really putting tons of tension on her hair. I'm just slowly breaking up these curls. Now I'm going to adjust the curls from the back, and once I feel good about it, I always like to bring them forward and fix the hair as I'm looking at it in the mirror to make sure everything looks good, everything's curled, and make sure I don't need to touch up a piece. Last thing to note, because we didn't talk about this, when you are practicing curling, I would have your curling iron turned down to maybe half, but once you get better and quick, you can turn it all the way up, and that's what I had it on today. But I would always recommend advising the client to turn their iron down as they're learning at home and never start with it on the highest temperature.